That's right. Timothy Moyote. Timothy Moyojuba. Shout outs to you, Maggie. Shout outs to you, Felix Ayikwe. Shout outs to you, Ma Oti. Shout outs to you, Daniel T. Saki. Shout outs to you, Wansa Aite. Shout outs to you, the one and only Ukaleche. Shout outs to you, Niayi from Choco. Shout outs to you, Man Christie. Shout outs to you, Atago Bemofe Moyojoba. Shout outs to you, Jama Mantse. Shout outs to you, Clara Darlington. Shout outs to you, Abraham Mama. Shout outs to you, Vida Laye. Shout outs to you, Nikwe. Shout outs to you, Awabache. Shout outs to you in Chikome, Miami, Toyota. Shout outs to you, the whistle is in the building. Shout outs to you, Raman Odera. Because tomorrow is the Supreme Court case. For God and country, here we ride again. Doing it for the Lord that we have for our land. Oh, you while I don't, Bama de no like you show me, ke o jakoni femo, Bama de no jagonti, benye no magi Kenya like ya show, magi Kenya like ya show, ma oti Kenya like ya show, and in ja, magi ke ma oti, I mean Kenya like ya show, and in ja. Shout outs to you, Naimisa. Imato yote, boy ojoba. Shout outs to you, the one and only director. Itri Kome. Ose moko be. Shout outs to you, big bro Toyota, Imam So Solomon, big bro boy Ojoba. Koba Shebiano, Bon Kemo me hello, Benyeli Akemi hello, Manche Jimmy, Kemo me hello, your tax section ona. Gakem Yungabu. Johnny Femo, shout outs to you, Mr. Ike. Miriano, Mr. Ike. How about? Kemo Mokono, Kemo Kwake Waba Trashi. Niwabale Waba. Shout outs to you, Ansa Aite. Shout outs to you. Ato Kankpa Toyote. Haba. Kemo Mokonio Kemo Kwake Waba Trashi. Niwabale Waba. Shout outs to you, Manyana K2K, Miriano, my boy Ojoba. Kemo Mokonio Kemo Kwake Waba Trashi. Minda Ghana be ke UK be ke Europe be na me shikpe ke na America Waba na saneba. Nyuma join ye fe onu. Ye yi wala don wa di enche nyuma join ye fe kome. That's right. Nyebwa magi twe magi kenye like ya show nye like ya nye like ya nye like ya. Shout outs to you, Alfred Aite Miniano. Shout outs to you, Mr. Daniel Taki. Impatoyote. Shout outs to you, Edwina Cheatham, Toyota, man Edwina. Eba. Minda mo fe moshi ake nyefe nye bafita wo yini wabana sanigba menenu take boni nyefe nyele waka je cheli wo Supreme Court gamanchesanie ashejeme washo keso ni abaye sanie washo ni teko chulu se shirari ene kete no jino ni about deal with eke so like a National House of Chiefs. I'm a stay of I'm a appeal and I'm a appeal against actually I know then so I'm a stay of execution so no jino ni have a stay of execution ni ji so ye commence. Shout outs to you Edward Yate to your turn. So what cases enyon about your Supreme Court take so stay of execution na me gangmeno no jino na ba fe kumase she wo na no fe no na ni so no po e ba hian ona boni ni yo wo boni e ba ji ke boni e ba ton wo ba na fe na ni no ni ba ya no so po would be meaningless ona boni cho. So what D-Day tomorrow is the D-Day ona boni ni yo. So shout outs to you Lisa Biba to your turn. So mene manyofa nani volume abashi fio ye ni enona ba ni mi Timati weje ani volume abashi eshe Timati gang me 8 bona. So mene waba now te balete ni case ya je Supreme Court mene no sanenta woni wogba bona she mene ole mafe a lot of reading she can case itself in can because the case could make one can follow your 2 hours so no ni mafeji case kenkle na ye kumasi ni National House of Chiefs said domono ni ameke jie ni adama la chegbe ni makane the last page habo jameje ni mi te yo bona kengbe na ni adama la che appeal ne file against nakan ruling ni Justice Ali Baba ha nke na kan appeal ba chombo ke gbogbe na bona eke Justice Frederick Tete ni a ruler ni adama la che akele yo jugba le o makane last page of a ruling ne habo ke ngbe na ne Justice Frederick Tete ha ruling ba na ke National House appeal ni tetation le we appeal nke na kan no ba chombo noji na kan appeal noji no ni last month appellate court tano ekumasi na rule 30 ya ni adama la che makane no last page ma chombo ken gbe na ka gbe ne no ni Kelvin Taki ya file after ni last month ruling na jepo makane no mabu e kan National House of Chiefs amwa briefs enyon one ya Supreme Court one ya appellate court can get no way habo ona boni ni yo so ko ba na get koni o follow sequence boni case te la un e ba Supreme Court na jeneke court ajeneke judge yin na teneke judge yin na shineke judge yin na abaneke judge yin dani agbene akete Supreme Court so mato na ma habo no jinu chumo no wa atun e bi boni afa war eke ona me ko me benyele am ba join you during the middle of this neke series ne so I may list some of these things bona so what a document say about chom and yeti am ko me nke chon your money nye no she for the sake of our new viewers our new followers say we ba je hihie ko bona boni ne yo so one of the things ni in we na manage gbete she animasa nke no aje hihie ko maybe akete fi oteni te baleteni sania ya je kumasi that is one of the things ni third grade blophobia ona ni amelewo lomi na amefe kwa ameyaka ameba kase ni amemo amekọ ake numwe ni taflache wo yue esane alo wo yue eha le numwe mo yakọ school na elewo lomi amemo na amega amenyi o manche na te school wa na elewo lomi amemo amesha amenu shishinu no na aksane aje kumasi efem na pe wo moni alo wo meni taflache amega wo manche elewolo miye wo mo wole no ne wo ni sane aje kumasi amemeni amega me manche elewolo mi fejele mi bi efe amemo amele no ne wo ni sane aje kumasi it's freaking unbelievable oda boni ni yo so once again Nitete's School of Gamanche Issues is once again opened for another lecture. It is free. Aheshka. Bona. Aheshka. No one yanko ake mi fele for God and country. No na true for God and country. Aheshka. Ona bonini yo. So once again, Gamanche issue say biane incho expert Gamanche issue. Incho professor ya Gamanche issue say no. Ona bonincho. So mene wema free lectures. Yes, I'm going to deliver free lectures today on the Gamanche issues. Te balete ni kese ebaje Supreme Court nyani waji yashishi. Once again, inge third grade blophobia na ma me manche no blophofe Ghana bi fe ne you blophofe Ghana bi fe nyeba bo atwe cause nyembi akete fi oten na ashioga kala aka yesane na awu osane ke ya akumasi nyeba bo atwe free lectures Yojogba tago fan Yojogba wa di enche nyeba nado free lectures class captain eba trashi third grade blophobia shout outs to you Mr. JQ Mr. Kwaku over the boy Yojogba nado nyawa jianshi papa leni ona a picture your screen there no Egbeji ni tete ashon. Shout outs to you Akuche boy Yojogba papa leni ona egbe your screen there no achole ni tete ashon ni jie numo alo edwe so wolu egumen na edwe wolu egumen na numo but I think he is the fifth now Leji Kelvin Taki esenche leni le Kelvin Taki esenche ji papa ne So every decision ni papa ne take or it affect or Kelvin Taki. Ona. Sometimes I may feel like but law le ball na kan yole. Ona. She judges any ta court ta flash ame lukui. Onyen o senche ke sani aya court no ka ke bu ole eko. You understand what I'm saying? So nakanji boni mlasa ne yo je judge jimi wa ba hia me ni judge se ke daily bona ama mete school me I'm not a lawyer nya kwole etama law school nya maybe woman ya dabi ona nya law school so no le nya kwole no ko me me efu me e ke bata bia ne papa ne le Kevin Taki essentially now ni afe no fe no atan ona mi a lecture so ngmentwinshi ni asha ni Boni King Taki Adamalache the original House of Chiefs said afon shiki ke hame ni amefita president ke vice president of the regional House of Chiefs na me ba fe 5 ni ama represent Greater Accra region ye national na kanji Boni ayale composition g president ke vice president ke meyete so meyete na afon shiki aha ye Greater Accra regional House of Chiefs ni Adamalache efita meyete bona ni afon oshiki aha ni ama damo Greater Accra Najian ye National House of Chiefs Kelvin Taki esenche ni one picture ne ni achole ni tete ashon le e a file case ye Kumasi court e a file ye gan ni Adamalache ke dabi ka ye gan abaye ahile no e sumona ke Kumasi e a file ye Kumasi because I feel like a better chance ye Kumasi nke bwake legally it makes sense ake keji mo okemoko yesane jurisdiction minimum yo jamo ba file ye lawyer si fe ba kebu na kai ka o lawyer ko ne kebu na kai it's more practice it's legal more practice bona so nyabo example nke ke mo go nyebo nyomo ye temale ko assume o ba assume ye court ni yo temale bona ko o bagano ba assume jomo bemi mo da ne ka ba ko efo lole ke je temale de ke bagan dabi so e assume National House of Chiefs ake me yete nifita president take vice say na me fear 5 mo ko me yemi na kan mo leji ni Adamalache ni emanche ne yo they have issues with it ya me susu mo mi gazette e chon gbekpa no kan ni bi ne kan ball na kan to mo boni amengmaye na kan tiafi wolu emi be le tiafi wolu na kan tiafi wolu ni afeye nunwa tiafi wolu na afeye nunwa no na amengmaye mi no e wo le ye susu mo mi ni akoko ne ke sanjin na mi na ba ye bona na ba ye akagme ni Adamalache gbe ni ebadomo Greater Accra obotwe Najian ye national esani ene ekete nye boatwe third grade blofo bi nye boatwe nye shachon nye sha esani ene ekete eke ya ake ajie ni Adamalache gbe le senche di enche esani ene ekete eke ya ake ajie ni Adamalache gbe ye register mi ake gamanje jeno sande ekete third grade blofo bi nye boatwe ko nye shachon inke inche ni tetashon sani eni ekete kotu eke ya aga kotu ekete Kumasi kotu le ekete Kumasi kotu le a file suit first de ni Adamalache ni eje case shishi mene eje shishi papa ne le eje shishi sani na ya gbe na Kumasi court agbe na ye Supreme Court na ba ye sani ye gan wo papa ne le eje shishi le ke sani ete Kumasi and rightly so because National House of Chiefs say Kumasi ameyo it will make legal sense akoba assume ejeme na kan pepe afiole now botwe sani ene ekete eke ya ake ajie ni Adamalache gbe ye register mi je no sani ekete sane ne keteji ake national aka megbe ni adamalache eba represent Greater Accra ki atabiami ni abaye gamanche sane quote and unquote whatever no your original of this ni be frivolous ni be na me file efe ka atabiami ni abaye atan dani ahele awomi mind you na can time ne ke sane ete ni adamalache no me egbe akewo register mi omo nye buatwe je ni adamalache nikpa akone e represent Greater Accra ye national dani akegbe ba awomi nya woloko ebi e ba ni esa achechon next time e makane maabo no ni amenma ke Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs ke response be like ke won we ni wakani anko se bi atipo go sane response na atipo ke ha me response na atipo go next time makane maabo nya wolo ebi bona e ke wolo ya ke kwa ke ni adamala chegbe ba womi no ewo achi national ni ameke egbe aka womi je na kan ni adamala che bia mi ni woche ne e file lawsuit no mi ni adamala che aka egbe e wo register mi omo ni e ko mi ntimi ni ma move on lawsuit ne file aka aje ni adamala che egbe ye mi aka gamanche ye no lawsuit e file she file aka meni adamala che egbe ni a represent Greater Accra ye National House of Chiefs ke atabiami ni sanji ni ebole gamanche sani e abaye ata now ne file na kan lawsuit mini jino ni Justice Ali Baba ni eta sani no mene jino ni eke so the very first ruling ni jepo ye neke sani ne no maka the last page Mabu tumo beninke maka the last page say bona koni wose aka blashi because benyeli ake beke show say dabi aya 4 hours ke 5 hours dabi about bamba ni 2 hours pe eke wogbena bona so mini jinoni Justice Ali Baba yue ona boni ni yo nyani wobote ami boni afeni one no ni Justice Ali Baba ke so first ruling sanene ne ajepo Supreme Court first ruling ni ejepo sanene ye no jino ni imba ni nkaba chombo ne koni watona ni watona keya ona boni ni yo so ami 1 second ni mingbele ye in laptop no boni afe ni makane mahabo now to mo boni ke ebo Jaje ni eta sani no achole Justice Ali Baba many jinoni Justice Ali Baba ke nyani wobote ami right about now once again ke wa ke min kan the last page mahabo bona so first ruling ni jepo ye case no nyama zoom ale out inyana to mo benin ke bo benyele last page say makale manye because when you what this because boli if I come 40 something pages what can if me you Justice Ali Baba ke botwe okay I'm quite clear in my mind that the issue raised in the applicant's instant application is about the prohibition of the respondent from inducting the interested party into the National House of Chiefs as one of the 4 chiefs from the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs on the main ground. The issue of who is the legitimate government is yet to be determined by the appropriate institution/body. Once again, bona so aka ajie ni adamala chegbe yemi ye bo atwe kon Justice Ali Baba nkan yo abo I am quite clear in my mind agaga if you blafon kan le to moganyo that the issue raised in the applicant's instant application producers you find nyani mana Kenya na no kwenye kami benyele kemi kane ni ekefie in our screen no so Kenya na no kwenye nyani mana nyani mana yeke na beni mayale. I am quite clear in my mind that the issue raised in the applicant's instant application is about the prohibition of the respondent from inducting prohibition of the respondent from inducting the interested party into the National House of Chiefs as one of the 4 chiefs from the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs on the main ground that the issue of who is the legitimate Gamanche is yet to be determined by the appropriate institution. Justice Ali Baba ake sania ni woche ni tata shonke ba eke a expunge ni adamalache gbeyemi. Jeno ni tata shonke ti. None kete jiake. Sane ye Gamanche sania ye na yi. No ani agbeko na national akadme ni ameka sha ni adamalache awomi. Having a name gazetted in the National Register is different from inducting a person into the National House of Chiefs. They are not the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? Bona, inge, look, Gamanche case in ke okoba agmo trinshi ni oba kane woji ona oba kase ni oba le ni ke ota ono ya no kwale moko lakabu. Having a chief's name in the National Register is different from inducting the person into the National House of Chiefs. Mind you, National House of Chiefs, I may 5 pay again. Magia Chemeni or Greater Accra, I may 5. I may team of I may bear National Register. So it's not the same thing. Kote Kumasi the same thing. Magia Chemeni or Kumasi, I may 5. She 5 pe ni a inductor. Now me represent origine. So having one's name gazetted or listed on the in the National Register is not the same as being inducted as a rep of your region. It's not the same. Nibi enyoni. Kote ote National House. No biaka na moji sempe manche. Obana ni otinto gbe egeme. She ni otinto e representing Greater Accra. Ye national. Kote National House of Chiefs. Obana ni gbese gbe egeme ake gbese manche. She ni gbese e representing Greater Accra. Ye National House of Chiefs. E representing yame. Kote na moji otu blowum. Obana ni do saki gbe ye National Register mi. Ake leji otu blowum manche. She need to do Saki and represent Greater Accra, your National House of Chiefs. So it is not the same thing. Once again, third grade blophobia having one's name listed in the register is not the same as being inducted into the institution as a rep of your respective region. So need attention. Non ekete aka inducti ni adama la cheke woni eya ake ajie gbe register mi ake Gamanche. Justice Ali Baba, even though a ruling there was flawed there, he was quite clear. No ni poten ni tetation keba. Let's move on. The applicant is not calling on the court to determine who the Gamanche is. Justice Ali Baba, you are. The applicant is not calling on the court to determine who the Gamanche is. The issue for determination by this court is whether or not the respondent should be prohibited from inducting the interested party into the National House of Chiefs as one of the 4 chiefs representing the Greater Accra Regional House. Once again, quite clear. It's about prohibiting the National House from inducting Niadamalache as a rep for the region. It was never about expunging his name from the National Register. It was never about that. Let's go on. Thus, if the question or whether or not the interested party is the Gamanche rests its head in this instant application by the applicant, it does not necessarily transform the matter of prohibition presently at hand to a matter affecting chieftaincy for purposes of the above quoted provisions of section 117 of Act 759. So once again, matters affecting chieftaincy so judge and even though nekeno kone boli onake center gamanche yeli je no abayi je gamanche sandia abana ba ka mene ashimashine akagmelegbene ba represent region no wo declare based on that e kotini biebe e banye ewe neke sanini bona because it is not to determine money sane ye manche je no eba ye bie shimo kwake ani esake achini adama la chegba ke e ka represent region elo. Now let's go on. As was held in the Republic Versailles Court, Koforidwa ex-party Bedi Akupe Sophia Akufo, Justice of the Supreme Court, as she then was, as quoted supra. Now, in consideration of the affidavit evidence filed by the parties, and in consideration of the fact that there is no dispute that there is a subsisting pronouncement by a court of competent jurisdiction, which judgment or ruling has not been reversed or appealed against, as indicated in the foregoing, to the effect that the question of who is the legitimate occupant of the Gamanche stool is yet to be determined by the appropriate body / institution. The application for the applicant for an order to prohibit the respondent from inducting the interested party hearing into the house of as a member of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs is granted. Consequently, the respondent is hereby prohibited from inducting. Once again, Justice Ali Baba, even though a judgment there was flawed there, he was explicit. Consequently, the respondent is hereby prohibited from inducting the interested party into the National House of Chiefs pending the final determination by the appropriate body or institution, the legitimate occupant of the Gamanche stool. Once again, bona. So, noni wache ni teta shon ni nke picture chomboe. Inke chomboe, agrante. Shout outs to you, Mahawa. Shout outs to you, Afiache, Nabi Kwashibuba. Bona, bona boni ni yo. Bona, once again, inke, look, I'm not a lawyer. And you don't have to be a lawyer. Yeah, of course, there are technicalities. Onagela say ninke when you mean eba ni ewe asmogone kasemla. Onake egbla ni bi amini onushishi pofe boni mi kan de blofoni bonwo kan de blofono onushishi. But some of these things say it is so clear. Some of the rulings say it is so clear. Onaboni even though Justice Ali Baba mofe moneta sani no after le ekake a judgment in a ruling in it was extremely flawed. Even lepo, it was clear. Noni potena ke badumo yi. Aka meni adama la chegbe. Ne a represent Greater Accra. Aka ajiegbe. Ye register mi ake gamanche. Justice Ali Baba po je na kanyeke. So, what you need attention. Mine ncha yanko. E na neke judgment ne. Na neke judgment ne. Ni National House na medumo no. Ni ameke je ni adama la chegbe yemi. No ni adama la chaloye say ame a face search. Ni no connect against ame. Ame ti ame a face search. Ni ame face sure. Ake lele egbe yemi lo. Because number one, Jeno Akete. Shout out to you, Rosemond Obese Bona. Number two, ke ameba apply, ameba appeal in the ruling ne. Esani ame le no ni poten ni national etu after ni amena neke rule wache ni tetation na neke ruling ne. Kona ameke le the way na ameba file ameke say ha. So no me na me face search na me na ke odabi aje amegbe. Aje ni adamala chegbe ye. Register me ni register me Sunday no ni akete. You understand what I'm saying? So ni adama la cheke a lawyer say I'm a file appeal against neke ruling ne. Now mini jino ni adama la che appeal ke any ruling kone justice very detect a ruling a ruling me e chombo don aga afin aba chombo sani na akeba. So ni adama la che na je egbe ye mi ni je na kanji boni Justice Ali Baba ruling poke, even though I against delay. Now me file appeal. Kete I court no akadabi. First of all, I make a Justice Ali Baba ruling a pagbe, number 1. Number 2, who National House of Chiefs say none Justice Ali Baba ka amefe ke amefe alo amegba ka amefe ye no amefe fenini. Justice Ali Baba eke amake ameje le ni adamala chegbe ye register me. She no amefe search amenake National House of Chiefs contrary to even what Justice Ali Baba ke ameje egbe ye mi. No court atano ni akwesane ye mi eko. Mini jini bi ni akete ni adamala chekete ni Justice Frederick Tete tano ne ye no nkechonbwe. The Republic versus the National House of Chiefs ex party ni Taki Adamala the second. Forget more about ruling there. Me nke wolo ne nchombo because damages any no ne kete okay. The applicant hearing ni Taki Adamala the second filed the instant motion or notice for an order of judicial review in the nature of mandamus on the 28th June 2021. Praying this court for the following. Nchombo no niji mandamus. Mandamus say God na che ye no go gbe kemla mmomokogbe nyina ka institution say ni organ afi mla ngo amegbe na amechu no ni amechu so ka institution ko ye ni mla wole aka echu noko ni mo efe no ni mla wole aka efe afa no na file o ka ya court we ko ni court we a compel na ka institution ko ni mla no ni mla call aka efe no ji mandamus. That's pretty much what it means. Bona, it's not a again no gonna gidi. No. Mlake DVL. Ke ukono fe no ha me register car ehabo. Ukono fe no ha me. No fe no she. Oko checklist me ni bi na me bi ofe o ke fe ha me. Ni am register o car. Ka o ta court a compel me over mandamus. That's what it is. An order directing at the National House of Chiefs Kumasi to restore and or re-enter the name of Kintaki Adamalacha II, the applicant in the National Register of Chiefs as Gamanche, the paramount chief of the Gun State. Council spelled out the following grounds as its basis for mounting the instant application. So me jino ni Adamalacha dumono neke court to a compelling National House and I make a bear woman back. The respondent unlawfully and unjustifiably acting ultra-vires to expunge the name of the applicant herein from the National Register of Chiefs. The respondent's unlawfully and unjustifiable decision or expunging of the name of the applicant herein being arbitrary and prejudicial. The refusal and or failure of the respondent to re-enter the name of the applicant herein and in the National Register of Chiefs has been against the principle of natural justice. So energy ni adamacha leake na ruling se me amedumono na meke jiegbe me no ne kete ne ake Justice Frederick Tete ake papa common no ami ame jengbe register me ame being that sanipo is against the principle of natural justice. Ame being that sanipo ame jengbe sanie na kete ake ba ake sanie ya ajema aka ame jemu ko gbe me she ame dumuno ake ji so ni bi ni adamala che file ne after Justice Ali Baba ruling there in Kanyabo no na like even lepo ne ruling there was wrong where it was very clear you know you hear me. Now let's go on. So nando no ne fe ne ani wokwe miniji no ni Justice Aite ke ni eta case no dudu dabi je no ne ani maya se makandi ma je ne now noni Justice Aite ke ani magbele koni makane no machombo noni Justice Aite eke ni eta case no atan I mean 1 second. Here we go. Mini jino ni Justice Aite ke no jino ni inkeba chombo ne ni adamalache e appealing Justice Ali Baba ruling ne ke court to ake Now, you find a benyana. I'm a feeling open with. I think last ending cake. Let's see. Stop sharing. Yeah, I mean 1 second. Yep, let's go. Let's do it this way. Noni just take care. It's over 40 pages. See what I big enemy there your actually this is 18 pages. See now why ya na big be. Jameji any meet here bona meet here. Okay, our can the keje be bona. Our can the keje be. Our can keje page 16. 18 page now. Our can the keje page 16. You find it benyena. Okay, okay. Manye, you find a corner black screen a kemomi. So far the kemomi because in any near your cafe in candy in Najame Eba. Good. Okay. Thank you. You find a bear jagbene. If okay. Okay. So now let's go on. 16. Nini adamalacha appeal Justice Ali Baba ruling ni national domononamic jbe Justice Frederick Tete letano netano mini juno eke. I'll not venture to give a comprehensive definition of what is fair and reasonable, since these qualities are dictated by the circumstances in which the administrative function is performed. At the very least, however, it includes probity, transparency, objectivity, opportunity to be heard, legal competence, and absence of bias, caprice, or ill will. Indeed, the action by the respondent leading to the expunction of the name of the applicant herein should not breach the rules of natural justice. It is worthy of note that even in purely administrative actions, some administrative justice is required by way of fairness and reasonableness. It is a constitutional requirement under Article 23 of the 1992 Constitution. As explained by Bamfo Addo, Justice of the Supreme Court, in the case of Abuaji versus Ghana Commercial Bank Limited, 2001 to 2002, Supreme Court Ghana Law Review 797 at 806. Article 23 says that administrative bodies and officials shall act fairly. So if you are an administrative body, once again, you cannot act capriciously, arbitrarily, ultra vires. I mean, where it's you must act fairly. And acting fairly implies the application of the rule of natural justice, which have been elevated to constitutional rights and are binding on all adjudication and administrative bodies, as well as courts and tribunals. In the case of Awuni versus West African Examination Council, 2003-2004, Supreme Court Ghana Law Review 471, the phrase "to act fairly and reasonably" was explained by Pega, Justice of the Supreme Court, at page 489 in his judgment. He said, the phrase "to act fairly and reasonably," in my opinion, necessarily imports a duty to observe the common law maxim of audi alteram partem and other principles of natural justice, which is very much part of our jurisprudence and are implicit in the constitutional provisions in Article 23. Because I cannot contemplate how a person could be said to have acted fairly and reasonably if he had not given notice or hearing to another who was entitled to such notice or hearing before taking a decision which adversely affects his rights, neither can I contemplate a situation where a person could be said to have acted fairly as a judge in his own cause or give a biased and perverse decision. The applicant's right to be heard is basic, fundamental, and failure to adhere to the same by the respondent will obviously be fatal to the case of the respondent. In the instant case, nowhere was the applicant hearing notified by the respondent hearing regarding the process the National House of Chiefs went through leading to the expunction of the name of the applicant hearing from the National House of Chiefs. So Justice Teteke Nye jegbe ni emie. Nye kele po. Nye twala dafi po. Nye kele po. Nye kele po age papa wonjo gbe ye ni emie mi no ba ke. Nye me lo ye se po. Nye bie na sande po. Nye jegbe ni emie. No one can know a breach of the principle of natural justice. Now, but neither did he participate in the entire process. She called no trinshi, no kind of document say Obanake can tabiani nkebwake ayeni adamalache akeleye ojogban ni bohun oya wo mi e no domo e papo domo mo fe mo ni town e ya no kwale ke kweke se mi no bolen chobana. Neither did he participate in the process. He was not asked for his comments. He was not asked for his comments. Abilepo. Indeed, from the affidavit evidence, I'm of the considered view that the entire proceedings at the National House of Chiefs plenary, if any, was conducted on the blind side of the applicant. Again, imaginoni, imaginoni, teatrolete, from failure. I'm like I'm tell me pia ene ma mechanical so I'm late come batashi na me ngani bi na me in kwa me din no anye ababa kenya ni bi so kaka ni ba wo ka jofu ye bi document ko me po kwe ko lewolo mi kwe ima akweli ele aka wo mi school gba pi le school ya fa no okay na no ko pe imbi tete o fa ne ni eni nkan ye inu hyihi bombo de encha kan mu ani no kwa ke boni nkan le na kan ni lo ima akweli wolue keba ne kane ne ebake papa ofane bashia nkane ina no ni aka mo shimi sumo ni bonwo kane koni makwa aka no ni nushishie na kan ne oni lo because ima ele aka egbo mi school gbe nte fele wolue nle mi fele no ni nle mi fele ne ka committee ebie e ba chemi no bonke bon third grade school ote bon wo gbe ko gbe form 4 na alobu form 4 po na ene brofo e dala no gbe bo ye bi na ekolo wo school gbe ni le we ekolo e ka gbe kokula gbe secondary school na chele no kala ke mbi wolo na kan mu ami boni afeke ata ekwo ni ayo ni mana ke no ni mi yo mi we wolu emi no ni wolu e ke shi je no ni moko ba amale mi femo na gan femo na kan we me imbidote inte school file bago e secondary school president mama wolu ani ngma tanke ambidote nke dote kandemo no edit ami imbidote bago e SS2 be ya SS2 bago nke dote before ni mama ta TV yen ni makane ni ma hwe yin ahye wolu eno ni ngma ne emo edit mo ami. So bongo edwemu no to yi anokwale nlele okosumo gan kemoko kebo no gwe blofu e ko le nu no hihie kiamogo ni mo mbi kanemo ami nka gan ni ndakwe wole wachemeka woni me wole me ame bi school na me ya no ameke jo ame no ameke to ampoa ko na wole nyoka wole nyina be jejeje we na me mbi ya secondary school we bo onyo hu obi school gbe gamashie no wole me ke bi ka wole ye no aka bi omo ni bi ete school fe ni so go no hihie nli aka wo bi school gbe ki hala ne kan ne gbla me abo nye botwe e ka nye babi e be nye fe ni bi come nye male me nye me ni nye le wolu e mi fi ohun ni nye le me daibo mischievous amale kutumpo e gege mbata bi e ni oula ko ba je mi kojo be sia nge picture be ba chonje nko eke go boy nko eke go bo e gege mi kojo be sia mbata bi e ni mi gbla ni bi e mi e go te Facebook e go ke kojo be sia di mi manage le mi fe ayobo ole ake na alo ole ake nkekebo in platform your platform agbo so mani mo fe mo anage bo man dalojibo gbomogbonyojibo Bona boge ko jobe si agimi man nko yin bag me fini no na kwebo na kwa nu hie na ejo mo ko jobe si a mana kwo yin mana no hie bo mo no je mi ko jobe si a mana no hie we na triple o like nko ekebu a couple of months ago so like yin pa no I be na strike you must strike you at the right time me show nkwani papa lege ninye fi ofe mi nkwaje chirobusam ma ye da de o so for chirobusam e ka mu ye nyina mi hwam at the right time me strike na say me strike o so for chirobusam na ke at the right time mi tade nyefe mi tade nyefe He was not asked for his comings. Indeed, from the affidavit evidence, I'm of the considered view that the entire proceedings at the National House of Chiefs plenary, if any, was conducted on the blind side of the applicant. It must be added that the ruling the respondent relied on did not also order the expunction of the name of the applicant. Yes, no me ene report ne na ngma Akufo-Addo nyeme nye ke politics ene na ngma Akufo-Addo ji president here Akufo-Addo ji president here Akufo-Addo ji president here le moni e ke le ne ba 2016 Mantse mo ne etageme je le etageme le ne wa na wo la atage le ji president na ngma ne gen rule here maka ne jame ko nye buatwe. It must be added that the ruling that the respondents relied on did not also order the expunction of the name of the applicant. Justice Ali Baba ruling he did not say that. So Justice Freddy Teten Kamake I'm a born near Damalache na sane I'm a bill sane I'm a kele no kwe na me dencha me tena meje noni je po yue na kan rule ye me je no ameke twe je ke kwa kanye je egbe ye ni. Interestingly, the respondent failed to exhibit minutes of the plenary indicating that a meeting was held. Once again, oji awo wo kwe gajema wo jin fe kele bayi. Come on. Every single house, every single house get a meeting about take a decision. When you like, I take ona once again in Kabo. Ona can you back in Chombo Bonnie a register your National House of Chiefs, Regional House of Chiefs. Now can process no a carry on to the national. It's the same thing. Same thing. In Kabo more a traditional council ne yo kedi ame tashi ni ame pene ni ame agree aka ke mo aya na kan gbile na afe na kan meeting minutes na afe na record ake wo traditional council na work pe na aka ashi machine na eji meni manje ake gbe oyi e ka na meni me yo meeting mi ke no na discuss ye na kan meeting mi ani le la ke na kan gbile discuss aka ashi machine work pe na aka ye manchelo. The same principle applies. Gosh, regional nakabaya namoka me kwano fe no naka same thing. National be a same process. About tami na bakwe. Okay, what administrative process akwe. Na me we in doctor mene watashi mine ke mene work mene naka. Justice Teten Kama ke. Ame nye upona me provide yake ame as a body na ruling ne ame tashi. Botwe ame tashi ni ame fe ame pene yake. Okay, ashi machine no ni court to eke wa ji egbe mi no won ji ye mi. Justice Freddy Teteke ameta no po oji awowo ekometo ke iwale. That same oji awowo na ekometo ke iwale ni kabata bia no oji awowo eche committee olowe. Neke eke other members of the National House ba atashini eka ruling ni one against the one no ni what they wa atuye ne oja wo e check committee olo No nakano be ene kay walele kometo e order na jenia nakano no na me appeal nakano ji awo wefe nge gan wajimba bilesan na gan ji awo wo. Interestingly, the respondent failed to exhibit minutes of the plenary indicating that the meeting was held. Members present at the said plenary and the decision itself were not attached as exhibits because they did not do it. So Ojawawa unilaterally took the decision. That man. What was exhibited was a letter indicating a meeting of the plenary took place, and its outcome was the decision to expunge the name of the applicant herein from the register of chiefs. Having read the affidavit evidence on record, it is safe to say the acts of the respondent and his registrar breached the rules of natural justice, thereby rendering their proceedings leading to the decision to expunge the name of the applicant from the register of chiefs a nullity. A nullity. Now, Animayano, here page 17. What be in? I can move on to the next one. The eminent jurist N.A. Olenu, in his works as chief on chieftaincy under the law and digested in the Supreme Court case of Republic versus Central Regional House of Chiefs, next as ex parte Ehuna Bobrim Idam John the 9th, 2013, 66 GMJ page 1 described chieftaincy in such hallowed and respected terms. Thus, chieftaincy is an ancient institution, the center of rich culture, an object of awe and reverence as the active possessor of state power and possessor of the spirit of the ancestors of the state. In view of the above description by N.A. Olenu, it behoves the respondent herein, being a principal actor in the chieftaincy institution, to ensure that it conducts its activities in such a way that it does not bring its name into some disrepute. It is worth adding that there are many chieftaincy related disputes which have led to many communal violence, breach of the peace, sometimes with fatalities, and above all, the attendant fatalities, and above all, the attendant lack of development in the communities where protracted conflicts are the order of the day. Thus, impoverishing, poverty, right? Thus, impoverishing the people found in such communities. The above stated effects of protracted chieftaincy disputes can be reduced if, among other institutions like the respondent, live above reproach and determined to apply the law rightly in order to instill discipline and maintain the dignity of the chieftaincy institution. The above will, in my view, stem the tide and, most importantly, facilitate the developmental agenda of the country. Having regard to the above discussion of the law, coupled with the affidavit evidence together with the exhibits, the applicant has sufficiently made a case to warrant the grant of the instant application. Further, in coming to the above stated conclusion, I also weighed the equities in the case, hence my decision to exercise the court's discretion in favor of granting the instant application. Indeed, I'm of the considered view that there is no other alternative remedy available to the applicant herein than the instant application. In the circumstances, the instant application has merits and it is accordingly granted. I hereby order the restoration of the name of the applicant, Ni Taki Adamalacha II, into the register of chiefs at the National House of Chiefs by the respondent and his registrar within 14 days from today, for the avoidance of doubt, or on before the 25th November 2021. 2021, who was the president? Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo, you know, I will register me. Third grade blophobia, you buatwe, in Akufo-Addo, you know, court to a kaka, Adama la chegbe, I will mean back, yake gamanche. Signed, Justice Frederick Tete, Justice of the High Court. I'm a canon agbeeko. Move on. Having regard to the above discussion of the law, coupled with affidavit evidence, together with the exhibits, the applicant has sufficiently made a case to warrant the grant of the instant application. Further, in coming to the above stated conclusion, I also weigh the equities in the case, hence my decision to exercise the court's discretion in favor of granting the instant application. Indeed, I'm of the considered view that there is no other alternative remedy available to the applicant's hearing than the instant application. In the circumstances, instant application has merits, and it is accordingly granted. Justice for the detected. I hereby order the restoration of the name of the applicant, Ni Taki Adamalache II, into the Register of Chiefs at the National House of Chiefs by the respondent and his registrar within 14 days from today. For the avoidance of that, you get Justice Tete. By 23rd November 2021, you get bear woman. Justice Tete. Bona, I find a say me, I find a me can no fin, boy. I find ya. Now, of course, ni afene atan National House of Chiefs once again oji awo wo nke ganjema wajin ba bile Sunday ke se shi fin ganjema wajin Majia chame na me ba ye manche ye gan na me ye lord gba na me sacrifice ame sisa ba bi oji awo wo Sunday ke wonche ni adwene atan once again oji awo wo again no shishi epene wache ni tetation mlenche nchekwe lenwe ke dabi no ni Justice Ali Baba yue na ke gie ni emi correct National House say unka ame toko boni ame gbla ni emi na kan no pepe ji no ni eke no ame unmi na ma fe ame teni ame ya appeal ni ame apply for a stay of execution pending the appeal aniga wolu achon. So ni adamalache ena decision ake be awo mi back National House of Chiefs ke da bi amepene iche ni tetation ke da bi epene wolo e na me file no ne nyegwa ama file bibio no na few there you go benyana wolo e ne in the Superior Court of Judicature, in the Court of Appeal. So Court of Appeal, no ni adamalache wini ama mekete Court of Appeal ni adamalache ne case awini akake gba wo mi back ama mekete ama file appeal je ni adamalache Justice Frederick Tete rule hale no e kwa me na mekete gba wo mi back ni ama appeal once again third grade blofobi nye sha nye buatwe appeal na ye ni adamalache 30 nyenye kenya apili nyenye kete appeals court nyenye kete ye ni adamala cheketi nye boatwe. In the matter of an application to invoke the supervisory jurisdiction of the High Court, and in the matter of an application for judicial review in the nature of mandamus, in the matter of the Republic versus the National House of Chiefs, Kumasi, respondent/appellant, so ameketi, ex parte, ni Taki Adamalache II, Gamanche, Accra, applicant/respondent, ni Tete Ashon, any boy get the 6. Now check it no ma. When I go ban the 4th, or ban the 5th, or ban anywhere. Interested party, right? Now, our minute ameke. Notice of appeal. Come on. Again, please take notice that the respondent/appellant herein being dissatisfied with the aggrieved by the ruling of the High Court Kumasi in the Ashanti region, presided over and delivered by His Lordship Justice Frederick Tete on 11th November 2021, do hereby appeal to the Court of Appeal Kumasi, the grade blophobia National House of Chiefs. In interpretation, amamega appeal yete ye ni adamala chene wo keje gankete Kumasi nye shachon. Nu ele dane makenye shale nye sha nye buatwe. Against the said ruling upon the grounds set out in paragraph 3 of this notice of appeal, and shall at the hearing of the appeal seek the relief set out in paragraph 4, and the respondent/appellant further state that the persons directly affected by this appeal are stated in paragraph 5. Part of the ruling complained of, the whole ruling of the Honorable Court dated 11 November 2021 in the above cited case. No need Justice Frederick Tete. A rule ani adamala chaka ke be awo mi fe awo fe achafo. Grounds of appeal. Meaning no amedumo. The Honorable Court heard when it assumed jurisdiction in a case when the applicant/respondent was aggrieved by the removal of his name from the National Register of Chiefs, which the High Court was not a proper forum to determine same. High Court a bad jurisdiction ni ebaye nakaino. B, the High Court erred when it failed to hold the applicant/respondent's application was commenced in breach of the mandatory provisions of the Chieftaincy Act 2008 Act 759. The High Court erred when it failed to rule that the entry or deletion of names from the National Register of Chiefs being an administrative function was not amenable to the prerogative writ in the nature of mandamus. And again, once again, ni adamala chele no neke ba mandamon say neke akale yo jugba no go na sana mla ke National House of Chiefs afi na me fe je neke sane je mandamos na Sunday file ni court awomi as mandamon say be court to ebo omodin agbeni we man ka ke court I court be jurisdiction. Mind you amenye ekpa no ake shishi je mi na akete je me ni nke ko buene shinin kan de ni amachon amagbla amachon bo ni Justice Ali Baba yesanie ni di adamalache e town na review ekete Supreme Court street na review nekete Supreme Court the National House of Chiefs amena me a file sane Supreme Court ake ni adamalache esa sane na ke yele esa ne ke ba Supreme Court esa na meta no esa ne ke kuse ne ke ba High Court ne ke ba High Court ne ba win ye jamenwe na me file appeal amen ma aka shi dabi je High Court be jurisdiction ke okwe ame affidavit mi ame elaborate further ke ni Justice Ali Baba rule ni adamala che ekpene sane ke a Supreme Court ame yin ekpa no ake ni adamala che ke Supreme Court na ma file against sane Supreme Court ake esa ni adamala che ke ba Supreme Court na me na kan no ake okay kenye gaje esa na ke ba Supreme Court okay working anye nye ka ya High Court back ni nye ka ya nya ya geme no na je sane ya High Court ona blow boy no can tabia ninga oji awo I hope I can no ga aka ganje ma what nke sisa iba be like a big na be fan sande ona our channel. Now many eba affected amangma be of course ni taki adamalache ni tete ashon amegbe ona ye be now affidavit no your screen there no ama kane fio no na make fita ame appeal here bona anima kane mahabo real quick ni ona no ni. Oh, shout out to you ni aye ba fita wo impato yo te boy ojuba ni aye ba trash. Let's go. Nya wa kandia. I, Anthony Yebua Tabiri of Bungalow number 7 Royal Palm Ridge, Danyame, in Kumasi in the Ashanti region of the Republic of Ghana, make oath and say as follows: that I am the National Registrar of the respondent / applicant, house, and deponent herein, that I have the authority and consent of the president of the respondent, applicant, house to depose to the affidavit which are facts within my personal knowledge, information, and belief by reason of my duties as registrar of the respondent, applicant's house. That on the 11th day of November 2021, the High Court Kumasi entered judgment against us. A copy of the judgment is attached here to and marked as Exhibit NHC1. That aggrieved by the judgment, we have since then appealed against the said judgment. A copy of the notice of appeal is attached here onto and marked as Exhibit NHC2. That our appeal raises a number of arguable legal issues for determination by the Honorable Court. That our appeal has reasonable chance of succeeding in a stay of execution. That the exceptional or special circumstances warranting the grant of this application, and praise the court exercises discretion by granting this application. Next one. If I'm get no yes. Essentially, I can't before any. So then can I appeal? I may apply for a stay of execution pending the appeal. Stay of execution only is self-explanatory. It means don't execute the judgment or the ruling that you received. It should not be executed pending the appeal. So that's what it means. So I may apply for a stay of execution. Stay of execution. No affidavit any fit no canele earlier. A motion on notice for stay of execution. Motion on notice by Kwame Owusu Secretary Esquire, counsel for and on behalf of the respondent, applicant herein, praying this honorable court for an order for stay of execution of the judgment of the High Court Kumasi, presided over by His Lordship Justice Frederick Tete on 11th day of November 2021, pending appeal, and in terms of the accompanying affidavit. Such further order or orders as to this honorable court may deem fit. Court to be moved on the 26th day of July 2022 at 9 o'clock in the forenoon or so soon thereafter, as counsel for the applicant hearing can be heard. Now, no, bottom. So affidavit na make a fit aye no jinoni inke habu ni ona bona. Now, enenwen kenu ikane no abombo ikane enenwen abombo kane enenwen fen kane abombo kane enenwen fen abo imba. Right. So, Miniba, near me apply for stay pending the appeal. Na me she's on here. I met us on here, you don't. You mean you are politics and you boatui. Justice Frederick Tete, ne rule like I can near Damala check bear. I will near me back and get no me a kufuado elegi president here. Lord come ye jamolo. Stanley Ajiri Blanks in Yamolo. I'm a fan, I'm a party of your power. Titus Glover, I'm a fan, I'm a MPP Game fan, and record me, I'm a fan, man, Jalo fan, I'm a fan, I'm a Pamaman, I'm a your power. Ninia Damalacha winnie. Then they win and they went to sleep. I'm a war. I mean, I'm a war. National House of Chiefs said, yeah, Miss, and I mean, yes, and yes, need that show, and yes, and yes, Nakano, I'm a fan, I'm a Tiama. Benia Damalacha Tashi. Bay me. I mean, many are make a Sunday at the I mean, as an amen, yes, she amen, yes, Niadama like a tashi, way. In a lunch, I chess and yes, I get mommy ruling in your ruling. 2021 tone. I should machine and I apply. I may apply for a stay of execution. Yeah, me pending appeal. Appeal, and I said, I never filing be not genuine. I mean, for me, I'm gonna mute tashi to a toby. Mintashi. Milencha min cha appeal, yes. Mlang mo legbe because na can decision affect le so mlang mo legbe ake e ba chese ni je la san efe monica appeal yete la le nu chumo ni la san efe ni oni adama la challenge te ni ama femini ni amerienche ameache appeal yese bona now na ma cha appeal yese no jino ni aye last month 30 bona no we mini jinoni ake 30 mini jinoni ake nyani wokwa noni ayue makane na agbe no pe mahanye no ebenyele wakane ruling na efin ye bie bona So I'm a candidate na be I'm a candidate. Makani last page man. Oh my boy. Hey. Yeah, I'm 1 second. Me minta magbele bi ene koni. Magbele bi koni makani man. Yeah, I'm 1 second. Here we go. Nalepe. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Hello, the member. Good. Nano. Bona. So, in blaming fair ehabo. Ona any sunny a jeshishi. Ona ruling ni Justice Ali Baba ha. Ona noni ni Adama lache faili. Ona noni Justice Frederick Teteke. Ona noni national appeal na amekete stay of execution na amekete ama me apply kete appellate court. Miniji noni appellate court tete 3-0. What can you film? Oba na agbe pe no what can noni ameke. On your last page, last but one page. Ni okay. Oba na agbe kura ni wokọ eno na me we jemeje ni ene me ball nka ne fin ha boso oba na agbe ni woka ne no ni court weke. Sanemba sanekumba. Sanemba saneko. Eba. Ani enyele mi enyele gbo. Okay. Good. So now, page 44. Let's go to page 4. It's 47 pages. So about page 44. Okay. So our can get here. Good. Let me yep. Benone nyenna. Right? Okay. So determination of the appeals. Now what can you get? Okay, having outlined the relevant facts and applicable law, we now proceed to determine the appeals based on the two sets of grounds presented in both appeals. It is noteworthy that grounds A and B of the first appellant's appeal, as well as grounds A to D of the second appellant's appeal, are similar. They assert that an appeal under Section 59(7) Act 759 was the exclusive remedy for the respondent. Consequently, the High Court had no jurisdiction to exercise supervisory powers over the first appellant. Once again, what you know, as the preceding analysis has demonstrated, the grounds of appeal were founded on a flawed understanding of the provisions of Act 759. Section 43 of Act 759 affirms the supervisory jurisdiction of the High Court over the houses of chiefs. Section 59(7) does not indicate that other remedies are excluded. Given that judicial review can address a dispute under Act 759 completely and effectively, there can be no justification for insisting on an appeal. The aforementioned grounds asserting the exclusivity of appeal as a remedy lack merit and are thus dismissed. No, no, make think I will fin a chaff. I love fin a chilashri. No, nye buato justice ban a yueko. Ground C of the first appellant's appeal and grounds E and one of the second appellant's grounds of appeal assert the same removal of the name of the respondent was an administrative act which was not amenable to the prerogative writ of mandamus. The definition of mandamus cited above from the Black's Law Dictionary, along with the Ghanaian decided cases cited, demonstrated that mandamus lies against the administrative decisions of a governmental officer or body, a body charged with public duty, or the state or its servants. We demonstrate the supra that the first appellant is a quasi-public body whose staff are appointed by the president under the Constitution of Ghana, whose expenses are paid by the public through the consolidated fund, and whose accounts are audited by the Auditor General. As a body charged with public duty, the High Court has jurisdiction to review its administrative decisions judicially through the writ of mandamus. The grounds of appeal for the two appeals fail. Grounds D of the first appellant's grounds of appeal and ground F of the grounds of appeal of the second appellant falter the decision of the High Court for nullifying the removal of the respondent's name from the National Register when the removal was based on the fact that the question of who was the Gamanche was yet to be determined. I mean, look at it. So if who is the Gamanche has not been determined there, why do you go and put someone else's name more? No need justice bank. After being nominated, vetted, and installed by his traditional council, the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs forwarded the name of the respondent to the National House, which also reviewed the process of his installation before approving him for gazetting and in the Chieftaincy Bulletin. And his name was entered onto the National Register of Chiefs. The only means by which his name could be removed from the National Register was death, abdication, bestowment, or by order of a court of judicial committee of a House of Chiefs. The respondent's name was removed without fulfillment of any of the preconditions. After being nominated, vetted, and installed by his traditional council, the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs forwarded the name of the respondent to the National House, which also reviewed the process of his installation before approving him for gazetting in the Chieftaincy Bulletin. And his name was entered onto the National Register of Chiefs. The only means by which his name could be removed from the National Register was death, abdication, bestowment, or by order of a court of judicial committee of a House of Chiefs. The respondent's name was removed without fulfillment of any of the preconditions. If the National House of Chiefs cannot respect its processes leading to gazettement and the entry of a chief's name onto its register, can it expect others to adhere to that process? If all an opposition candidate can do to remove a gazetted chief's name from the National Register of Chiefs is alleged that there are pending petitions or questions concerning the accession to that throne, whose name will remain on the National Register. I love Justice Ban. I hope you guys will not fault me for this one. I hope you guys will not fault me for saying I love Justice Ban. Uncle Sam, great question. Uncle Sam, Sunday will be a but you know the answer already now. Uncle Sam. Lord Comey. Uncle Sam, you know the question now. You know the answer to your question, Uncle Sam. You know. The government of the day through just a phone call can call for the deletion of Adamalache's name. So if the government of the day through just a phone call can call for the deletion of one's name, the same government through a phone call can call for a person's name to be entered. I love Justice Man. Justice Man get Justice Man you to mo. E ka me you to mo na gbeke bi bio ni micho a posale. Adegbe gamashete gamashie okay na gbeke bi bio na e pate yin na kai. Okay, na gbege bi o ne patan yin Justice Man. E je gbe patan national house, e je gbe patan me yin. Amakaneko. If the National House of Chiefs cannot respect its processes leading to the gazettement and the entry of a chief's name onto its register, can it expect others to adhere to the process? If all an opposing candidate can do to remove a gazetted chief's name from the National Register of Chiefs is alleged that there are pending petitions or questions concerning the ascension to that throne, whose name will remain on the National Register. If the appellant's argument is accepted, all a losing candidate needs to do to remove a gazetted chief's name from the register is file a petition or orchestrate some media publications, and presto, the name will be expunged. The appellants, particularly the first appellant, who must instill sanity and order in the chieftaincy institution, are by that argument advocating chaos and confusion. Ground E of the first appellant and ground H of the second appellant are said that the trial court failed to adhere to binding precedent. The primary precedent they relied upon was ex parte Jan 9, decided under Section 57 of the repealed Act 370. It has been demonstrated that the Supreme Court, in its interpretation of the current Act 759 and Act 370, in cases such as ex parte Buswampain Kojo Yamwa and ex parte Fable the Third and the Gabra case, has explicitly held that mandamus is an appropriate order to issue for enforcing the registration of a chief's name in the National Register. In light of the current authority on the law, we cannot accept that the trial court was bound to apply an earlier decision based on a repealed act. The grounds of appeal presented by both appellants are dismissed. Like, every single point was dismissed. I guarantee I may communicate. Need attention, the National House of Chiefs. Communicate. Quarter nekepo a consider. Ground 4 of the first appellant's grounds of appeal and ground G of the second appellant's ground faulted the trial judge for holding that the removal of the respondent's name violated his administrative justice rights, as entrenched in Article 23 of the Constitution. Article 23 rights to fairness and reasonableness are implied in every piece of legislation, including Act 759. To maintain that the removal of a chief's name from the National Register without any court order, and worse still, without notifying him, advocates dictatorship, which contradicts the ethos of our constitutional order founded on due process. As established above, this removal, which violated Act 759 and precedent, namely ex parte Fable Third and ex parte Buswampain Kojo Yamwa, etc., and adversely affected the accrued rights of the respondent, violated Article 23 of the Constitution, and rendered Section 59(7) of Act 759 impotent and inapplicable. The two grounds from the appellant's camps fail. Ground G of the grounds and J of the second appellant has said that the appealed ruling is against the weight of evidence. Having A, established that there is duality of remedies in the form of the High Court supervisory jurisdiction under Section 43 of Act 759 and the right of appeal under Section 59.7 Act 759B. The High Court, by virtue of its supervisory powers, had jurisdiction to determine the application. C. The removal of the name of the respondent without notice to him, and in the absence of death, abdication, dismissal, or an order of an adjudicating body was unfair and unreasonable, resulting in the violation of the respondent's administrative justice rights under Article 23 of the Constitution. The ruling of the High Court confirmed to and swam comfortably with the tide of the affidavit evidence. The two grounds of appeal, which themselves run counter to the weight of the evidence, are dismissed. Appeal against cost. Ground H of the grounds of appeal from the first appellant argues that the cost of 25,000 Ghana awarded against it are excessive. The order awarding cost is found on page 150 of the ROA. Counsel for the first appellant failed to address that ground of appeal, which is deemed abandoned and struck out. We found no merit in the appeal of the first appellant filed on 18th November 2021, and that of the second appellant filed on 15th November 2021. Both appeals are dismissed. The ruling of the High Court, Kumasi, granting the respondent's application for mandamus and ordering the first appellant to restore the name of the respondent onto the National Register of Chiefs is hereby upheld. The first appellant is hereby ordered to restore the name of the respondent onto the National Register of Chiefs as the Gamanche. That grade of being yesha. Register ni no etwa Gamanche. Yesha keke. Many me tell you tiafi. I'm a bag of register ni. Tiafi chema bag of register ni. Kun chemeni tell you tiafi. I'm a bag of register ni. Yesha chong. If you read, you motherfuckers should read a little bit. Read a little bit. The first appellant is hereby ordered to restore the name of the respondent onto the National Register of Chiefs as the Gamanche. Within 14 days from today. Cost. We award cost of 30,000 against the first appellant and 20,000 against Charlie. Justice man. Square inchakwe and international mob of you 20,000 no government on it. That's now say la me escave I get what taxes and signed Eric Ban, Justice of the Appeal Court. Vijinoni presiding judge Georgina Minsandacha. Mrs. Again, I agree. Third one, Kwame Bading. Lewege, I also agree. I also agree. Now, no one jekwe. Any Kevin Taki get that vie National House unka mekpene. Ona no ni nka ke papa le na chology awo wo arabile sande. Oji awo wo le a file ko ameka make national house enforce ba I mean chowo money I mean national house chowo money am ba su money be ayin register me so chawega yeme aninga no achonye ona ni na mo no first nka achonye min kwa money no yo here ninga no first achonye Sanemba, Sanekumba. National House of Chiefs. Amekate. Ame apili kate Supreme Court. Aninga ame apile achonye. Ame apile. No jino ninge chonye no ne. No, National House of Chiefs. I'm appealing. Oh, need to take bar off. Now I'm appealing. Bolly, no, I'm a filing in the Superior Court of Judicature and the Supreme Court of Justice. Nyemeni nyeke ashibia na kesane ete kumasi no ebe mi bia na ke baga. No wo ka yenwu enye baga ke age atemali. Alo no la gbere na ye gan le nye ba ya wo mi ake o. Je kumasi judges. Third grade blophobia nye shakeke. Ninyega age ni ete agesane ete kumasi no if you ten na work gasane na ge akumasi wono na ba ye aye gan no eka no enye ba no awomi alo no unye ba ge da bia sa na ye gan esa na ge atamale kwe third grade blophobia nye shakeke nyege ko be cha ye kumasi ene wa aye gan ka ye gan nye ba ye wo mi lo alo nye ba ka ge da bi je wo shikpo no aye age atemale na aye je me ona wo fe wo je gan no asa na age aye ko neutral alo je na ke you know na me ke okay. The Republic versus the National House of Chiefs ex parte ni Taki Adamalacha II Gamanche applicant respondent/respondent ni Tatashon the fifth inge wolu ekweko na lo ba na le 4 egwe fi ego 6 normal na lo interested party notice of motion applicants for special leave to appeal the judgment of the Court of Appeal dated 12 June 2025 to the Supreme Court. I'm a quote article then. It can take notice that counsel for the respondents as appellant hearing shall move this honorable court an application praying for special leave to appeal the judgment of the Court of Appeal, Quorum, Minsant Dache, Ban and Badin, PKJJ, dated 12 June 2025, upon the grounds stated in the accompanying affidavit, and for such further orders, as this honorable court shall deem fit. Court to be moved on Wednesday, 23rd day of January 2025, in the forenoon or so soon thereafter, as counsel for the appellant/applicant may be heard. Dated at Marlow Chambers, this 13th day of June 2025. When in the share ruling on 12 June, the next day, no, na mechu negenuchu money. Professor Peter Atudiwe Atupare Kulendi at law, solicitor for respondent/appellant/applicant. Ni ame file ene ni amekete. Na ame file enwe be oba na ke ahame ibai be obali ake ahame 14 days na me gbe awomi. They were definitely ni from the 13 from the 12 ni wana judgment there to, of course, July 23rd is more than 14 days. So ni ameka fe in contempt of court war. I may apply for a stay of execution pending the appeal from the Supreme Court. And in genu achongo koni odna ke oime. Mean by 1 second. I didn't get no one trouble, no, not calling me. So I'm a stay of execution and I may apply no pending the appeal. In the Superior Court of Judicature, in the Court of Appeals, Kumasi. There we go. Once again, application for stay of execution pending the determination of application for special leave to appeal the judgment of the Court of Appeal dated 12 June 2025 to the Supreme Court. It can take notice that counsel for the respondent/appellant/applicant shall move this honorable court on application praying and order staying the execution of the judgment of the Court of Appeal, Quorum, and Ladyship Georgina Mensandacha, Mrs. His Lordship Eric Barr, His Lordship Kwame Badin, JJA, dated the 12th day of June 2025, pending the determination up the respondent/applicant's application for special leave to appeal the said judgment upon the grounds that in the accompanying affidavit and for such further orders as this court shall deem fit. Court to be moved on the 24th day of July, 2025 in the forenoon or so or soon thereafter, as counsel for the respondent/appellant applicant may be heard. Dated at Marlow Chambers, this 13th day of June 2025. So the next day, ni judgment ba na me file for a stay. Ni me apply to the Supreme Court. She Calvin Taki. Kele unsande ne eko eko. No ni eko eko e ba sumoni le un akele abue na atwe ye Supreme Court we eja aka ni sani eko eko shukun ani aye isana chele Kevin Taki ke sani eko eko no na eko eko sani court we achele ne ke na awie mu abashi court we chele ni eke na awie mu baba no ni court we chele ne ke na awie mu baba isani Supreme Court awo no na ke ba afen achafo eja ke decision ba affect le Kevin Taki here pano ake le esenche ni ke case ete Kevin Taki here pano ake ni esenche ye case here na can decision affect le no ele ya court to ene ba ake court to ake decision ele affect me, it's in my favor no ni is in my favor esani squan me gbe bona Kevin Taki eke na kan ni Justice Ali Baba rule le ya na ba kake ene ba sana ngme mi ma yueko because no e favor le she ne favor le ga sani sana le gbe na yue no ete ya file certiorari. Now mini jino ni certiorari eke allo mini jino ni emotion na file eke no na ejeme. The Republic versus High Court, Kumasi, ex parte, King Taki Teko Chulo II. Applicant, Gamanche Palace, Accra. And the National House of Chiefs, first interested party. Ni Taki Adamalacha II. Second interested party. Third interested party. Ni Tete Ashon, the fifth. Notice, motion on notice. Application to invoke the supervisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court for an order of certiorari. It can take notice that pursuant to the provisions of Article 132 of the 1992 Constitution and Rule 61 of the Supreme Court Rules 1996 Constitutional Instrument 16, counsel for and on behalf of the applicant herein shall move this honorable court on an application praying the court for A, an order of certiorari directed at the High Court Kumasi to remove and bring up into this honorable court for the purpose of being quashed the ruling of the said court. Quorum, His Lordship Justice Frederick Tete, dated 11 November 2021 in respect of suit number entitled Republic versus the National House of Chiefs ex parte. By Ni Taki Adamalache and Ni Tata Shon, by which the High Court Kumasi ordered the first interested party to, you see, these people are funny. Justice Frederick Tete, he had ruling in 2021 against Kevin Taki. Kevin Taki, he appeal. Eliake ni affect all le tumobele ke e appeal. Ete appellate court agile then pako ete check Justice Frederick Tete ruling ni no say appellate court we ruling pako ete ka na kan ruling na kan ruling ni Justice Frederick Tete ha na kan ruling then agbene eke mba appellate court so it's a certiorari eke awo Justice Frederick Tete no achafo then agbene no na appeal court then eke ba B a consequential order setting aside the judgment of their lordship, Georgina Minsandacha, Eric Ban, and Kwamina Badin, dated 12 June 2025 in respect of civil appeal number entitled Republic versus National, in which judgment the learned justice of the High Court of Appeal, Kumase, affirmed the ruling of the High Court, Kumase Super, and ordered the first interest party to restore the name into the National Register as the Gamanche within 14 days from the date of the said judgment. Upon the grounds set forth in this accompanying affidavit, and for such further orders as consequential orders, or as this honorable court may deem fit. And take further notice that the grounds upon which the application is made are as follows. That the learned High Court violated the rules of natural justice by ordering the restoration of the second interested party's name to the National Register of Chiefs without notice to the applicant or affording him a hearing. So minewo ni le. Because 2021 ruling there was against him. Minewo ne apply it then. That the learned High Court committed a judicial error of law patent on the face of the record when, notwithstanding the clear procedural requirements under Order 55, Rule 2 of the High Court, it failed to afford the applicant his constitutional right to be heard in proceedings that directly affected his rights and interests as Gamanche. That the Court of Appeal committed an error of law patent on the face of the record when, in its judgment dated 12 June 2025, it upheld the ruling of the High Court despite the lower court lacking the jurisdictional basis to reach the said conclusions. That the ruling of the High Court Kumasi, which was affirmed by the Court of Appeal, sins against the Wensbury principle and occasions an illogical and irrational outcome of having two persons named entered on the National Register of Chiefs as Gamanche. Wensbury principle, it is the principle of reasonableness. And in only court here, you get any reasonable person where a backpenelo ni a bedroom. Because meanwhile Wednesday principle a matter then ni ameje ni adam ala check me because I order kwa maga ameje gbe me. Actually there is actually an order for his name to be entered. Lena can gbe wo mi le I order aka ke gbe wo mi Kelvin Taki judge ko ke kwa aka ke Kelvin Taki gbe I will register me judge ko eke nye jia ni adama la chegbe ye ni dinye kele egbe awo mi judge ko eke na kan. Let me put it that way before ale wolo mi bi e na ma misquote me. Judge ko eke ake nye jia ni adama la chegbe ye mi dinye ke Kevin Taki gba awo mi judge ko eke na kan. Court to be moved on Wednesday, the 23rd day of July 2025 at 9 o'clock in the forenoon or soon after counsel for and on behalf of the applicant may be heard. So, there you have it. Any ajeshishi gaje. Ke any akebashe. Cheme ganyeme. No jino ni inke chonye ne. What abaye saniye abaye nyo. Wo se shorari ani Kevin Taki file. Appeal the National House of Chiefs sekete abaye no wo yega I'm a stay of execution na me be la abaye Kumasi because I know ya be judge say ni ame hana kan judgment here so no abaye Kumasi so but I guarantee you there will be no need for it. There will be no need for Thursday's case. There will be no need for it. Because war wabana anukwali. Nika waka wana anukwali. Nuna ba decide Thursday if you know. The Supreme Court enye ta cases enyo ne fe no. Beja amenye. Beja war amenye. She war ka amenye ame ta cases enyo ne fe no. Abana na wono abana na. What will happen on Thursday? No, I feel useless. Bona. So, impini normal. Chaos monima trouble. Ni o share o thoughts. O feel briefly. Ni walk pa ni waya walk. Ni wo me walk. Bona. what I wa ba ye nyo. Wo Sunday enyo ba ye wo. Keke Thursday aye komi. Bona. So wo enyo na ba ye no Sunday you. But Thursday no le komi. Ke feel 3. She wo le enyo ba ye 23rd cases enyo. Niji wo. National House no. Ke Kelvin Taki no. Keke third one no aba ye le Thursday. So wo Sunday enyo ni nchon ka ye aye le wo. Thursday no. Po ehia. Anya tasa na enyo no na ata no wo enyo ka ata no fan fe ehia ko ba asmo ni matwa bo ke me hi ka twa just text him hi keke in trouble what wale bamba mi pa bo fa call ba go straight to the point 2 minutes ni wo me ni wo ya aka UAP mi pa nfa ko ni wo me ni wo kwe no ni ba ajepo ye call te so ke ole ni sani eje ni eba she bi nkefe echombo nyani matwa inyeme ina first person oh okay yeah abache yeah you are right le ona ge le mbe wolu le we no mini no le we date wona okay be senche le we file no senche un file no le wolu le in the sheku no aka ma mi shi nso se yin pa no na ikma mi so yes so senche le we pene le we appeal so 4 cases in all 4 that is right yeah so nyani nke we be like I said call ba sumoni matrabu to mo beni we text me hi koni matrabu ni oba atwale bambang ona boni ni yo oba atwale bambang UAP Oji yeah nano what blame actually 3rd grade be so anyone know over the like him show gonti no ni ya nwe ko like him ami bona
See abi ake family wa da mo ko family ko ni me twa ne na be ni ebo twe FAB especially when you many your Ghana when you many your UK let them be an me man non tene family am shipe tembo anu kwale atu wanda bo ko family ko shi to one of you the da ne lu won fe ni tafa che amafata wo ke tu ne ke nu tu won fe won da fe ko shi won ba me do manyu that one that was out of your busy schedule. Ko mi no ka ba. Wa gbula ni bia mi je mo fe mo nyo na le ke bi ke ha. Gadang bi no ya. One that was o fatalo. Obi fe you are jo nye mi won ba fata wo no chu no chu fe nye mi fe. O fe mi na mo fe mo kushi. Ba one ogbula ni bia mi san o kan ni ogbula mi. Yo mo pi be. Yo mo pi be. Aga yo mo pi ha ni mumu anoni
kwale
no iyo yu akashi ta flache jeri ote school femoko alo le ni femoko shi henya no kwale ka bo modern agada gbe na o ka no kwale mo de me awie ye bi judge say wie no agbene ko ye no botwe ni aka ne kencho bo na agbula mi nke ha bo na aka bo ni nete no no ke oho ye alo yin an kwale se be bia na wole no awie don shi yu aka bia mi no gbula mi ne o kana no gbula mi ke ha mi ne me ni nu nshi amba nu nshi ni abanya no kwale ese no ya fa no ka no kwale ahye eni se no ka no kwale ahye do fi oni yo pede odu
eshe abache
Dete o don agba bike gbena ne ho awo egbeni wo ba chon ojomo ga no ya yi o don ochuno maba mo fe mo de manye chemekenyeme enyo ya ke mo fe mo iko wa se bie nye wa don but we could not more she finish line on finish line je finish line ga she be no fia na gbe na ga mo shi tani wo twa ne wona ise ne wana ise na mo JP ko chon shi wo omoni aye bo ofane ka fele gidigidi je be ni je ni funi jo no mi o menwe ni no chwa ko eni JP sane je wa ona ni yale din ke ko to benye yue ki enye force o won ki aye enye le by force ni kwenje ken wa ona eke shini mo ba eke gan ko eni e ba makokpa ebu eke wote wo hin won small ni wo ka ya me 30 ka me trifecta ka ke te ni le o coffee mi ame kole na kan ake abubu class mo femo ona ni onyenye shenye no ewo ene JB JY JP ona ni o nyefa ne wa denche min da mo femo shi agbeku na mo ne shikunu ile mba ona ewo mo femo ko ye pada fimo ready ona ni wo ba yame o ba yame anukwale ba ikuni no disani e wo anukwale ba ikuni wo danin kwa magbina makake woche boni ni taki adamala che ni jenyo no impa mimbo no manye wo tashi ojugba jomo tuye kunili e bonomi oye pomo mo fe mo ni efi anukwale ese je bon wo fi alesanse anukwale ese wo fi o
that's it
mo fe mo ni opramane no mo fe mo ni ogan interfla che o tashi din no me ne ko le tuye fan lo se gbe ya no ko ni wa no yan ojepo e wo bu pade ko wo bu pade ko wa yi kunin amale nyeye kunin kokoko
dabi
nukwale eye kunin wo miene ke mateshi manke ona ni mateshi manke ni ma bu pado juba mo fe mo afi pada pedi wo wa yi kunin no ora don
eje o galeje
Yo, ni tate.
yeah
Be. Minda mo fe mo siye, mo fe mo ni opramane no. Meni yo Mantse, meni yega onda mo fe mo si. Ta wo twa wo gbe ko na ni mba mo fe mo do manye hu. Ma yue ko nta wo twa ni wo gbe ko na. Wo ba na na ke ni wo ba gbe na. Na ka lara ni ke ta ha wo yikuni ye. Kuni ye wa yo mo we. Kuni ya yo mo. Ni boni kin ni taki adama la che. Eye kuni yo mo we. Eye kuni ka je komi ami. Manche 3 days aketole. Eye kuni ye sentu mi. Ni eye kuni ye mwemani ami. Ebera ye kuni ye shiponi ami. Manche awole enwo mo we. Awole enwo mo. Ni emme twins ne na twi ne sole swe. Ni mini no fe no ni yo jele mbe na to e. Okleji e ma wu e plenkeleshi. Eja kemi e fe na me ba chon mini. Amenya me kuni. Akendo ko ke jebo ni jebo no mi. Mi na you all dum ne kane kasi dum ba ye kuni o male kane kasi ni dum ba ye kuni wo gbe ke di ase gan ka gbe light fe ge o ka su light ko fe ne ko afi wo ka su light re ke no chondo mi nya mele aga o na ga wa fe e ja ke mini kuni e ayomo kuni ye ya ke no na mo ko be di ba ye gbe ke o twinsi o twin shojo ban no me okleji ma wo lenti ba pe ke sike mwe ne ba ni kuni ayi la so bo no mi wa che ni adama la che eme se gidigidi no je me ba tv no ne ba gbe basa no sega ebu ne cho ake manche gile ni elebe na yo manche ne le kusun je me ko na ba aju ame ye go mi ha me gani bi davi
oh
aju ye go mi ha ni ke bu play aju ye go mi ha le manche ni awo la bi ye go mi manche ni
Then you go me and Jaboli Ake Mancheni. I mean, not the Pete, said the Pepe. Yamana about 20 go me. Now I can. Macam. Macam, Mona 20 go. I mean, I can go to Raju and be over. What's in a kind of ye? Exactly. Jaguar, your way, le womanche. Le woman chomo. Ni Edwin and Afo, and yet about that for the Mukaja Mumomi. Ne Bahilomi. Jabocona for them way. Yeah, Dakuma, not there, a ticky vix. Vaseline, and be daddy. What an years ago, one, I can see enough for Mue. No Mue, I make a mistake, I'm out of there.
I thought stand by.
And they'll stand by. They will stand by for Nancy. Nancy, and your point, Papa. Who are never say Nancy was a Nancy here. Macha McBeco, like any gay Yankosi. Nancy, okay, get there, said about never to last year. Who are any say again? Go okay. No, near the NP, you won't be me. Can you make? Mofem, Jema, what you say you was so you couldn't yell eba. One quality was sumo amale. Yeah, because of any other was supporting near the Malachadabi. Ni a wole yano call me, ni one ke atakule, ni one naka chukusung, ni le you say, ni saying yes, ban quali no, ecomipe. No abanya work, na fe work, na ke I can advertise Mancheju, a home Mancheli Joe, wole. Ni kameti wa machine, e bag be. Ni adama la che eba, ne bata seno. No na ba fe wonako je wo isane ni de mbena
Eshe o fine ke obasumo ni oyu briefly workpa no ne me nyoko me text me matwa me so o fine ke bo osumo ni matwa bo text mommy hi je na gan ke ntwa me nyo ne no le be wogbena ona boni ni yo so I don't know only ake wo mami ne ndo anyways amatwa le makwa ke Pake ebasumo ne yue ni na elo. Hello. Hello, ma.
Ofane. Yo wadromo yo juba.
Ofane oja epa.
Imbo program wa na tribo. Court in judgment effect. Kafi nkwa no question ni indwomo mi fi mi. Koshi asomo no kwale ole. Amalo fu abe yi no ko eme kome. Ba wo manche me ha Ghana mamunfe fi obasa. Eko happy kufo be you know ko chombi afe a chieftaincy dispute. Ano e bi a gbegbe enough neke ne se ba jofio. Nina gamanche je ganje. Ganje jimi shi je ga. Only me money ji manche keje money ji manche shi. Nina wo former president keleta shika meni fe mo ke manche na fe me ake me na impose ekwa fun onuku anokwalele mi mo in the evidence if your mommy call me na kind o ni bi ana okan be manche ye na de gba fasu na ke mo ko pro ba be bona fi oni ha ni he come fi o basa ba ke nkonye shiponji ba ke ho na ka fi o ni se den ya nwe amalo fu ekome ni enyemi di wo ma hi enyon lo momo ene etene ni tema shiponji ekome na ho community eko nígbà iná chofin mo kometo shi akometo gba bi iná na wa ha mo shi akome gba ekome neke no neke be ameje gba me ke ba me ke ko ga ma sponi ka ma den cha me do ame na me bo ame ho iná experience ko ye ni me ningo o ni mo shiponji eko in that concrete evidence ni manyema decision me suspect ake as for me ni tona ke ha wo shipon afo shipon amia wini ya shika na kwa amie na refund amie check na ke amie je na ka ma no which I just say, I hey.
Yep.
Hey, and she found but na denche. Na hey as a full grab, na kabaha members. Don't neke Igbo ni o na che ni nene. Aka kwani neke ni bi na ekwe.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Oh, no comedy na fio ni kwa gamanji olupa e. Tadi ni hospon ni ha companies no kwenye negotiator ni mambi ana hise. Ni company obligations and amefi ameha mambi. Afi ya ke gamen wishi cho. Radon na ke shinye. Mashibu. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Psalm chapter 20, verse 6, class captain. You get what read it. Psalm chapter 20, verse 6. You get now I know the Lord gives victory to his anointed. He answers him from his heavenly sanctuary with the victorious power of his right hand. Psalm chapter 20, verse 6. Again, now this I know. The Lord gives victory to his anointed. He answers him from his heavenly sanctuary with his victorious power of his right hand. This is the word of the Lord. Some of you.
Hello.
What's up?
Ne.
Papa.
Ne.
Maya blau fe.
Umana ne cholo statutory case genone chikamenta o de madiscuss fio. Point reason ya kashin case na akadelo ne tako cholo gba ba ko mi nkra ake Adamalache has nothing against him.
Right.
Adama Lacha case is a National House of Chiefs case.
That's right.
Okay, National House of Chiefs a woman. It's where did him Nita to come in this case? Through that Nikesa it's a AIJ court. The court Adama Lacha a woman. Ninja the ne chako to work about me. Hello, he has not he has something against the judgment. Tell you many Adamala Chahungwe by me here.
That's right. That's right.
No, let's see what happens within the next few days. So I am finding it difficult for him to bring Adamala. Adamala has got nothing to do with him.
That's right.
Adama Lacha's case is against the National House of Chiefs.
Exactly.
The court breach all right. Adama Lacha breach all right. I look. When no some of let's see what happened within the next 2 days.
Exactly.
I hope I've exhausted my 2 minutes. Oh yeah,
thank you so much, my job.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Great point, Uncle Sam raised it. And like I said, he should have, like I said, I'm not a lawyer. In like Uncle Sam, he practiced law before, but great question, it be a decision, fair decision about take it to mobile claim or about affect. He could have joined the case from the very beginning. You see, that is any Jebu Luigi Ame. Jebu Luigi Ame. Now decision check. Affect. This is not the beginning of the case. It started somewhere. Where were you? Anyways,
Remember,
hello, Ni.
Ode. Mi boss we bule fe manji. Mi a tete ke fe manji. Mimba mi di manji. Tafrache ishe hiku ni oblayi abiye. Amidencha me suni kesa adwe. Dani yue mo poni jua. Tafrache ke mo kutwa mi poni nkele yue kwa keshi. Ke sumo kuye. Na kaba sumo. Hawa baya peace work iya mkwe. Niji adamalache. Because that papa leke womanche that's over 8 years. Aka she keta flache ekele we tishie shukwenga anana ni mai. Shukwenga ba kashi ni boy ba kolo washipojika washiai. Ta flache eshe hiku ni ake noche mani eha noche me. Ya ishono. Shinini gamin ke yute ni taflache me kumete suku na lewulumsha beshi adwemo taflache. Iye mobo ke musu sharakeshi. Eni ajio manche ye isha kudeme. Nwake amenke Kevin Taki. Eko chuluwe amelo mulu. Keshia keshito ame ngemi. Sana ametashi na mebi ame ya keshi woke na ya midi woke shishi. Data frache ote skulu le wolo fedile fe shisani onyi shia ona education keje shia. Eke le Kevin Taki eke kotu eye sali. Iliake tafrache a press conference ni eyana abafifi keni biye. Na ba yu ale amebo ame expose le. Amebo ame expose le to be extend akishi taflache. Nyeke court wo maje. Shi nyebonya nyete Supreme Court. Onyumo ewoko yi. Onyumo ewoko. Akishi pelele koke jembo adi ewo yemi shi chuchu do me beneke. Cheme eduni omo. Game abi Kevin Taki question akishi. Taflache ani ashabo kita ya muginalu. Ani taflache video se fe no jie ke minji taflache wogame oblanya bi ni bana mi yese ni boni abi asuma eji se sablan ke ben sani gama bilet na keshi taflache te fete wonu audio ko te fete o ke ayi te osu chonota ayi te osu chonota lo te fete o ke le bote tumna kakita. Shi ake tuna ke twa tete ake twa tete aminya shi ke ame nagbe eba ame feel ake show gamanche mu dani nye social media no gamanche boji sakumo wulomo ta flache many despite ba fe mi ni poe ekebo despite asante yini baga bote asante kemene intafrache wasakumo wulomo akenu ko file ke no de mawaji ke sesa fe ke ya shaka no ko file no ba ati asega sakumo wulomo no ye kumase o show evidence fe ini sado show ejelemi shi minke yowa ke cheme akeshi amewomi obon anye platform ne yowa a job ko se shife money a chabu abu chabu ke se shife because in sumo benike ni ba platform ne akoto bible le akoto Bible ni tafrate gbomadi satashi nini ya no underground fe ne te akpata adamala chekeni bi fe.
Yeah.
Alife.
Yep.
He need to stop.
Yeah.
It cannot any ale.
No.
Ne boom.
That's right.
Because okay, atobu teko chulu. The second, the first, yo, she obato moko, no ya manche, the first, teko chulu the first. O commit to self. No che, nke ba wa biye. Because this woman you pay. All right, bye-bye.
All right, my job. Madam, I find I want way. Now the my again. Manye.
Yes. Yo. Niente. Menele inge no kokra no ni pen market. O you are don. O shia bi fe. No ma job do ba. O you are don. Maybe you are job mo me haboko. O wele fe. Niente.
Yeah.
You are don. Agbede nke cheme ni ka be yo bi ewu.
That's right.
Cheme ni wa do yo ajo ni say agbede wo to able lo ikebe ni your comment section.
That's right.
They need to laugh say
That's
ho wa ajo ni fe ni ha wala.
Yeah.
Ni ke kunni ni ele ba kashi no dagbedu wonya ye ho wa gbe control ni.
Yeah.
Ene pe ba we o you are do.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't man. Boy, I don't.
Yani, okay. Nyawoge, aile che, erabi, akuche, banoni, eba pawo. Akuche, over the hour no more, over lucky, pamo work pa. Over the ano.
Yo, ingete, bole, wole, eri ni eshe, wake, ni weke name ndasa ne bafiu,
Naga, eya.
What the call for it? Yara the call for it, ya, be an esani, sister jinka, what you fair, amecho, game, ke gonu pai, ne ameke kutumpo, echon, tondi, ke mashi ye gan. Ni na kan choni na me chon no ba du ya me nyemi ko ba ya ke si game aka se no ko no kukla gbeye ya ke si abenenche amebu ame fo pomo ni wole boni ame operator ke ate wo kanyu ma asmo na ate ko te bo fia boni ba bale o ba nale ame yekutu koto brajo jembi ba na ame like last weekend ba you no ko akesi nke wo ni aru awushi ewe lo akesi bia na ye ni ehye woje amintu ameni na ameke ame walen wo blanya bia ameke mba yes ke opo video ko je popo ngba ngbe shini oblanya bi eteshi ye numu adu awushi je amene jameke mo fia mo no lake oye wale ba face ame oblanya bi ya dumo she je me o na make o na me na me je gai shi mo ni ebota na me ke fio bukumoko le na ka ye nu mo je eje ya ga shipini numu adu awushi enna twi anise ni ani ni afele ni ekom la ka ba wede no ni kwapa ni ekume police station ni ba police station she anu kwale na ewo sa ni ya police station by force ni ya jina apa na efe ya gashimini ele an lenche ele enu kwale je ju ke fon no ke batajeme she anu kwale gbena ke batajeme wo ke ise ko poni ista ni ba fe na ni project lenche che ba fe na ni ya jina ife War, the money when you Mofia mo asa pada ye kemweshi. Mofia mo asa pada ye kemweshi. Ni obakwe boni ibayale. Kagbe won na wole kwe amake waya atani moje ju. Nwele wole. Majake biye ame chowo.
That's right.
Igageshi. Amefia ni yene shagbene mla denche bayi manche ehawo yega.
Yeah.
Odumishi mla denche bayi manche ehawo yega. Ni kemla babwe manche yeli ehawo yega. Dagbene ba sheko bu blanu ko bobu mla ko bayi na babo mo ka wo mi. Ni ka mo bu ka wo mi eni wo kwa ke o manche no nyi ese. Abu 6 years alo 5 years no kwake na kamancha po ba slabo po ye prison lo ni okwake na kamancha po e ba popo semi po ake edlebo po lo wonyeme ni brainwash ni teme kome ni ti oshi a fiti oshika na ka fi o t-shirt ni homo ye ma bi ye gan a fiti oshika na ka hire machines keni bi enye poka agbena ba anya na ka 2020 ke na ka die na ba abu ewo o anukwale no me like gawe ba anya na fe ekobe ne ke because of manche la baka ba peace work ni amele ne ka fe money aho CV mo na ama fe na ka mo eje no mo
Ama waki aho CV
da she efe mi na pe nyem tete
yeah.
Iwo gambe ba anya bu abi ne ke na ka ho ati mo ta forest na me nya me fe na ka ni wa age me
Yeah.
ni wa support ame Game ba nye fe deke igbo manche eke ara full gazette game nye domosa geshi da abi bosumo bu onye owo e manche e bi onye ocho HRM ye ma na ni wo wo ye ko mo amenya amefe na kan
Yep.
chi sane na kete court muwe no muwe amekokwa beke peace work ni ka oga o ya peace work e nye tafate wo nu ba ma na tafate wo aku je school what e to Jumbo fi onyumo ke abo mi la ke ka o fe peace work menyo fe ni amepelio ne ame preachers ani won na ye mandano ni won na ke yele agbene po ame po ente ka mi tesa bana ke si da bi ane man bi ento ni che menyo fe a fe ko mi chika okoni bi ni anmula po na che e cable straight akeshi no na afe is campaign ke ha o te pe ko tunu Ko fe peace work na mo fe peace work ha wo te go to alo adama lache menyo fe wo de fe peace work wo pe ame menyo pe po san won na me fa me picture atri t-shirt po na fe po kele la ke si ni na fe ame be mi e san t-shirt menyo fe picture po ai here
Yeah.
ko na gbe ne gama na ke yes bi ane won for ekobe fe mo wo amenyo fe ka me tashipo ka me na no ni ya no ye ma mi e abide nchepo amba join na mana ke dabi olunuko ye ni wo ke ni na she olunuko awo kwebo no water she kwebo do ba fe this is what we call peace work fije peace work o yo no ake court akeshi court be right ni ewu o manche ha game ni court many kasa na ete court ame akote wo mo sana me kasa mbo da de mo kote wo mo ko ni kota na me ta me chone ame to line mo na me kasa mbo da de mo kote mo ko na me ke kota ge kote onyo wo gamancha ha ko ni ame bia geshi ni na mo kasa ni eba mo nye yu ya je ge kasa ni eba numo be pie wo game ko ma ni febo anyway when you watch am like me pi na me te je fe Omona ni ameketi ameka nyege me. Omona ni kagbina le 2030. Rake kenike bira kagbina anwe ibamo numo kunye.
Yeah.
Ibamo che kunye ni na 2030.
Yep.
Me piuni ya miene ame just aga anye na ame fit na ame na t-shirt na ame wo. Chinoni ya no de jene jameli anu kwali e. Si okebini. Bo fie boni adu ba fie panwo re. Sangwe ku eka anwe.
Dabi.
Anu kwale yo ne itomo kako ko ke wonu shishi e ba banwe nke. Mene ke bata wo ba kwa ke shi lele. Twede mo kwa meta si afia ne bonwe ne. Ni eha wacha adama la tetuya for good 8 years. Bakwa ke lele mini woni hale twi na kan ke me 8 years here. So no manye bra of
Yow. I akuche etwahye yan wo gbena. Chemega nyeme minda mo fe mo shine kwewo. Wo baba biye. Mo fe boni e baba le. Wo ba ni nyele. Nti mo boni nyele be ni wo fi ole be nyele. Bi anu kwale e be wo you. No fe no ni ba ya no wo. Oba ni nyefe nyele. Oba gbala mi ojo gba. Ke wo lo ye oba ba wo ba chombo. Koni wo kan le koni bodi en cho nu ko tuwi. Kona boni ni ye yo. Wo ta bi en oba cable stories. Na bi. Oba ni wolu e ajui. You understand what I'm saying? So mean that mo fe moshi ni you've been on this journey with us. For about 4 weeks now, if gamanche so, and you have not been bored by it. So I want to appreciate you a lot. I cannot wait. Nine will be over. I get back to our regular schedule. Meneboli, I send me demolition na fe sakumo no ekombali. What discuss on ngani bi pie, may pile. What fear politics here? May pile again about and what you what record of political videos can it be fair? A lot of people do not know. What fear no me fe shigamanchane sanene take what no fair no ni fear. So nyega oba futula abagbe na ke agbe na eta to mo beni papa ro you ege etomo kako anu kwali etomo kako ko nye no awonu ehihia anwa at some point e ba todi ni ke todi ni no gbo me epe e ba ba nwe back ona boni ni yo so oba na nye fe nye you don. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much Mr. Kwako. Thank you so much class captain. Thank you so much. I truly love you and I appreciate you a whole lot, class captain. Thank you Shatter Drake, assistant class captain. Don. Thank you for thank you to my panel. Minda nye fe you guys have been a bit amazing. Mo fe money fit our in like look, God bless every single one of you. Mahawa, thank you. Mahawa kefi eba fit our panel generale. Shout outs to everyone. Shout outs to everyone. Like I said, we will continue to be here. No matter what. Nullity TV is here to stay. Chata beba take over. Bona wameni wa jenjie fe wabi beba kwani Nullity TV ni chata ba take over. The guy no men chak man. Wo ba twa gan ga mashi odugba ke nan gbe efe. Wo na go work pa. Like mo show dani Oshin ke o like iko. Minda mo fe mo shi Magi, shout outs to you Magi. Nye fine wo ba pe e bi nye ke wo juno. Bye bye.
Bye.